The galaxy had always considered itself a calm, predictable place. Great empires sprawled across stars, and every intelligent species had carved its domain. The Xerthians, towering insectoid warriors, ruled the Zephyrian cluster with an iron mandate. The Virilians, a serpentine species with silver scales, dominated the trade routes of the Iridian belt. And yet, none of them had ever truly feared another species, until humanity arrived. It began with whispers in the outer rims, faint signals intercepted by alien listening arrays. Small, unassuming transmissions from a planet called Earth, nestled in the Sol system, described humanity's technology, their rapid expansion, and their strange, unpredictable behavior. Most dismissed the reports. How could a species from a backwater solar system matter in a galaxy of ancient, powerful civilizations? Ambassador Kildar of the Xerthians convened an urgent council in the Grand Hall of Vraxel. The chamber was enormous, stretching nearly a kilometer in height. Its walls shimmered with bioluminescent veins, pulsating as if alive. Thousands of representatives from across the cluster floated, slithered, or stalked in intricate patterns on levitating platforms. The humans are expanding faster than our simulations predicted, Kildar said, his mandibles clicking in irritation. They have colonized 3 systems in the past decade. 3. And their fleets, they are crude but adaptive. Unpredictable. A Virilian delegate hissed, coiling its body into an elegant spiral. Crude fleets, you say? They are infants. We have studied war for millennia. Infants do not topple empires. Kildar's eyes narrowed. Yet these infants have repelled pirates, stabilized volatile systems, and communicated in ways that bypass our most advanced translators. They are unlike anything we have encountered. On the other side of the galaxy, on the glass-domed world of Cthar, a human envoy ship approached the planet of Draller. The crew aboard the Odyssey were small in number, but their presence carried a weight no alien could ignore. Captain Elena Royce stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the swirling storms of Draller below. "Report," she commanded. Lieutenant Chin, her second-in-command, tapped a holographic display. Sensors detect multiple hostile signatures in orbit. Shields are strong. Their weapon systems are primitive but precise. Elena smirked. Primitive or not, let's remind them humans aren't so easily intimidated. She turned to address her crew. Remember, this mission isn't about destroying worlds. It's about showing we belong at the table, whether they like it or not. The humans descended through Draller's atmosphere, dodging plasma volleys from automated planetary defenses. As the Odyssey landed, the skies erupted with alien warships, curious and cautious. Yet every maneuver humans executed, every evasive dive, every countermeasure, was faster, sharper, and more unexpected than the aliens had calculated. On the ground, human envoys stepped onto Draller's ashen plains. The air shimmered with the planet's native energy storms. Tall, 6-limbed Drellorians emerged, their eyes glowing blue and their voices vibrating in low harmonic tones. "We have heard of you, humans," their leader said, voice reverberating through the air. "You trespass in the Iridian belt without permission. State your intent." Elena raised her hands in a gesture of peace. "We seek only knowledge, trade, and mutual respect. We do not come as conquerors but as equals. Yet make no mistake, we are not weak." A tense silence followed. The Drellorians communicated in clicks and harmonic pulses, and for a moment, it seemed as if war was inevitable. Then slowly they nodded. Perhaps they sensed it, the confidence, the unspoken force radiating from humans. Something about these beings, so fragile in appearance, yet unshakable, caused even the most battle-hardened alien to hesitate. Back in the council halls of the Zephyrian cluster, rumors spread like wildfire. The humans faced a world defended by 100,000 automated units, Kildar whispered to an aide. And yet, they were not destroyed. They survived. They negotiated. They adapted. How can this be? The galaxy began to watch humanity with uneasy curiosity. Intelligence and power, yes, but cunning, resilience, and unpredictability? That was something new. Something dangerous. As night fell over Earth, Captain Elena looked at the stars, her reflection merging with the lights of distant systems. She whispered to herself, a promise carried in the void, "We will show them. We will rise. And when they realize what humanity can do, they will remember this day. The day they first heard the human whisper." The galaxy had underestimated humanity. They always did. But the first move had been made. The whispers were growing louder, and soon even the strongest alien empires would hear a sound more terrifying than any weapon. the sound of humans thinking, acting, and conquering in ways no one predicted. The galaxy had barely begun to notice humanity, and yet the ripples of their arrival were already reshaping alliances and ambitions. The Zerthians convened another secretive council aboard the Draxel station, a colossal fortress orbiting a neutron star. Kildare paced in the chamber, his armored legs clattering against the biometal floor. "We cannot ignore them any longer," he said, his voice echoing like grinding stone. "Their fleets are small but adaptive. Their diplomats are audacious. And worst of all, they are unpredictable. That makes them dangerous." A Virelian delegate, coiled tightly around a hovering platform, hissed sharply. "Dangerous? They are mere infants playing with knives. Our simulations show we could crush them in days. Why do you waste time worrying?" Kildare stopped pacing and fixed the Virelian with a glare. "Infants who survive when faced with fire are not infants. They learn. They evolve. Do you not remember how the Ralsians, another young species, were easily defeated centuries ago? Humans are not like them. Every encounter, every challenge strengthens them." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, humanity was preparing for a decisive demonstration of their capabilities. Captain Elena Royce had received intelligence that a pirate coalition, the Black Maw, had allied with a rogue faction of Drellorians to seize a strategic energy refinery in the Iridian Belt. The refinery was critical. It supplied power to dozens of systems, and losing it could spark a full-scale war. Elena assembled her fleet in orbit of Draller Prime. "Listen carefully," she said, addressing her commanders. "We are outnumbered. Heavily. But numbers alone do not win wars. Strategy, adaptability, and the human instinct for survival do. We will hit their supply lines, create confusion in their command, and reclaim the refinery without unnecessary destruction." Lieutenant Chen leaned over the holographic map, highlighting enemy positions. "Their fleet is arrayed in 3 clusters. Each has superior firepower. If we engage head-on, we will be annihilated." "Exactly," Elena replied, her eyes gleaming with determination. "We won't engage head-on. We will divide their attention, exploit their assumptions, and strike where they least expect. Let them underestimate us. It will be their undoing." As the humans executed their plan, alien commanders watched in disbelief. Drones relayed images of the human fleet weaving between asteroid fields, dodging plasma storms, and launching precise strikes against larger, slower ships. Every move seemed chaotic, yet it had a method. Humans were not just reacting, they were predicting, improvising, and exploiting the weaknesses that no alien simulation could calculate. On Draller's surface, the battle raged with almost cinematic intensity. Energy beams split the smoky skies, missiles streaked past, and the ground trembled as supply depots were liberated. Yet through it all, humans maintained a level of precision and coordination that astounded the aliens. From their observation platforms, Drellorian generals hissed in shock. "Their tactics, they are not like any species we have encountered. They anticipate, adapt, and innovate in real time. It is terrifying." Meanwhile, Elena maneuvered the Odyssey through a canyon of molten rock, leading a small strike team to disable the pirates' command core. The humans fought not with brute force but with clever sabotage, hacking systems, turning enemy drones against each other, and using the environment as a weapon. When the battle concluded, the refinery was intact, the pirates fled in disarray, and the humans had suffered minimal losses. Yet the echoes of their victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. HoloNet channels across multiple empires buzzed with speculation and fear. How had such a small fleet accomplished so much? Back at Draxel Station, Kildare slammed a clawed hand onto the council table. "Do you see now?" he shouted. "These humans are not just another young species. They are apex predators in disguise. Every action, every calculation, every risk, they turn it to their advantage. We cannot fight them as we fight others. We must study them, understand them, or be destroyed by them." The Virelians, usually calm and detached, recoiled slightly. "They are frightening," the lead delegate admitted, his scales flickering nervously. "We must convene with other powers. If we cannot control humanity, they will control us." Meanwhile, humans celebrated quietly aboard the Odyssey. Captain Elena Royce stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. "We've won today," she said softly. "But the galaxy is watching. They will respond. And when they do, we need to be ready, not just to survive, but to show them that underestimating humans is a grave mistake." In the darkness between stars, alien fleets began to mobilize. Empires that had never coordinated before were now exchanging intelligence and forming secret pacts. The whispers about humanity were no longer whispers. they were warnings. And in those whispers, the seeds of fear had already taken root. Humanity had won its first test. But the galaxy was about to push back. And in the trials to come, every human decision, every display of ingenuity, and every act of courage would determine whether Earth's children were truly the galaxy's unexpected apex. The first sparks of war had been lit. And in the cold, vast expanse of space, humans were learning quickly that wars were not always won with might alone, but with mind, will, and the unbreakable human spirit. The victory at the Iridian Belt had sent ripples across the galaxy, but it had also drawn the attention of powers that had previously ignored Earth. In the dark expanse of the Malachar Rift, representatives from the Zerthians, Virilians, and Drellorians convened a secret conclave. The chamber aboard the mobile fortress Eclipse was carved from a single asteroid, its walls embedded with shimmering energy conduits. Every corner thrummed with quiet menace. "We cannot allow humanity to grow unchecked," Kildare stated, his tone sharp enough to cut steel. "Their fleets are small, yes, but every maneuver is calculated, adaptive, and devastatingly effective. They are not just learning, they are mastering war at a pace unheard of." A Virilian strategist slithered forward, scales glinting under the dim light. "We need coordination. If they are allowed to advance system by system, they will eventually reach the core territories. There, even our combined might may fail." Drellorian delegates, their harmonic voices vibrating through the hall, murmured in agreement. "We have never encountered such audacity. Their diplomacy, their strategy, it is unlike any species we have faced. Even our most advanced war simulations fail to predict their actions." Back in human space, Captain Elena Royce convened a strategic briefing aboard the Odyssey. Intelligence reports had detected unusual fleet movements near the outer rim, coordinated patrols, unexpected jumps, and energy spikes indicative of mass mobilization. "Every empire that underestimated us is now watching," Elena said, her voice steady. "And they're learning. That means they'll strike soon. But striking blindly into a trap, that's a mistake they're about to make." Lieutenant Chin examined the holographic star map. "They're not attacking directly. It's a containment strategy. They want to box us in, limit our influence, and test our response. They think we'll panic." Elena's eyes sparkled with resolve. "Let's show them that humans don't panic. We adapt. We innovate. We turn traps into advantages." The humans deployed reconnaissance drones, mapped hyperspace lanes, and planted decoy signals to mislead the approaching alien fleets. They constructed rapid response stations on uninhabited planets, creating tactical choke points. Every decision was designed to confuse, provoke, and outmaneuver the enemy before the first shot was fired. Then came the first strike. A coordinated assault hit the periphery of human claim systems. Alien warships emerged from hyperspace, overwhelming in number, their plasma cannons tearing through the void. Yet the humans were ready. Using a combination of guerrilla tactics and advanced AI-assisted targeting, they lured alien squadrons into asteroid fields where natural hazards masked human movements. Mines and automated drones activated at critical moments, turning alien strength against itself. Every advance seemed chaotic to alien observers, yet every maneuver was precise. From the observation deck of the Zerthian flagship, Kildar's mandibles clicked in frustration. "Their movements, we cannot anticipate them. Every calculation fails. How is this possible?" A Virilian lieutenant hissed, almost whispering, "They're not just reacting, they are dictating the flow of battle. They make us dance to their rhythm." On Draller Prime, humans executed surgical strikes on energy depots and communication hubs, neutralizing alien coordination without excessive destruction. The aliens had expected a frontal confrontation, but humans operated in the shadows, striking decisively and vanishing before retaliation could be organized. Amid the chaos, Captain Elena made a bold decision. She ordered a deep space incursion into the Malachar Rift, a region previously untouched due to unstable hyperspace anomalies. Using unconventional navigation algorithms, humans slipped past enemy blockades, appearing where no one expected. Alien fleets scrambled in confusion. They are inside our own lines," shouted a Drellorian admiral. "Impossible. No species could have traversed the rift without detection." Elena, aboard the Odyssey, monitored the battlefield. Every empire that thought themselves invincible now realizes that humans cannot be predicted. And we are only beginning to show what we can do. But the victory came at a cost. A human reconnaissance ship was lost during a miscalculated hyperspace jump, reminding everyone aboard the Odyssey that even humans were not invincible. The crew mourned briefly, but the loss only strengthened their resolve. Humanity did not yield, it learned. Across the galaxy, whispers of humanity's audacity became legend. Alien scholars debated furiously. How could such a young species demonstrate not only tactical genius but an instinct for improvisation and adaptation unmatched by the galaxy's oldest empires? And in the midst of plotting and fear, Kildar realized a terrifying truth. Humanity did not merely react to the galaxy, they were shaping it. Every move, every decision, every victory was a signal to the universe. Underestimate humans at your peril. The galaxy was entering a new era. The first sparks of conflict had erupted into a blaze, and humanity was no longer a backwater species. They were the dark horse of the cosmos, cunning, resilient, and terrifyingly capable. And in that vast expanse of stars, one truth became clear to every empire: the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy had watched humanity with a mixture of awe and fear. Rumors of their cunning and adaptability had spread to even the most remote systems. And now, the first coordinated assault by multiple empires was coming. The Zerthians, Virilians, and Drellorians had formed a secret coalition, an unprecedented military alliance designed solely to contain humanity before they could reach the core territories. The Outer Rim had become the stage for humanity's ultimate test. Fleets of alien warships converged on the Sol system, their armadas stretching across light years. Commanders estimated that humanity was outnumbered 10-1. Yet Captain Elena Royce stood unflinching on the bridge of the Odyssey. "Attention," she said, voice steady over the comm channels. "This is the moment they thought would break us. But humans do not break. We adapt. We survive. And we win. Deploy the decoy fleets. Activate the stealth battalions. Prepare the hyperspace traps. Every move must force them to play our game, not theirs." Lieutenant Chin studied the holographic map. "They're approaching in 3 waves. If they coordinate, they could overwhelm us in days. But our sensors show gaps in their formation. Minor, but exploitable." Elena smiled grimly. "Minor gaps can become deadly if exploited correctly. Let's show them what humans do with opportunity." The first wave of alien fleets entered Sol's outer orbit, massive cruisers bristling with plasma cannons, cloaked frigates, and swarm fighters. They expected a straightforward confrontation, assuming humanity would defend the inner systems at all costs. But humanity had prepared a web of traps, decoys, and false signals. Alien commanders were forced to divide their attention across decoy fleets while human strike teams moved unseen to strategic points. The battle was cinematic. Plasma beams lit the void, energy shields flared and collapsed, and asteroid fields became killing zones. Human fleets darted in and out like shadows, striking enemy supply lines, disabling key weapon platforms, and disappearing before retaliation could even begin. Every maneuver felt chaotic to alien eyes, yet every action was precise, calculated, and devastating. On board the flagship Dreadmaw, Kildar bellowed into the comm. How do they anticipate us at every turn? They predict our moves before we even make them." A Virilian tactician hissed, trembling. "They are orchestrating the battlefield. They are not fighting, they are controlling. This is beyond any simulation we have ever run." Meanwhile, on Sol Prime, human commandos infiltrated key orbital stations, hacking enemy systems and turning automated defenses against their own fleets. Alien communications were intercepted, altered, and sent back, creating confusion and discord among the coalition. Humans struck with precision, dismantling the invaders' coordination piece by piece. Amid the chaos, a shocking twist occurred. A faction within the Drellorian command, secretly sympathetic to humanity's ideals of adaptability and diplomacy, began feeding humans critical intelligence. Elena learned of an incoming hyperspace jump intended to flank human forces and annihilate the Inner Rim fleet. Using this knowledge, humans set a trap of their own. "Prepare the ambush," Elena commanded. "They think they've found our weakness, but we will show them the strength in human strategy. Let them come." The alien flanking fleet jumped into the trap zone, an uncharted asteroid field rigged with automated mines and human stealth ships. Within moments, their advance was decimated. Ships exploded in dazzling bursts of light, debris scattered across the void, and alien commanders realized too late that they had been deceived. The coalition's first full-scale assault had failed. Alien leaders convened in panic, their confidence shaken. Kildar, mandibles clacking violently, whispered to his aide, "These humans, they do not follow the rules of war as we understand them. They are evolution incarnate." On the human side, the victory was tempered with reflection. Captain Elena looked at her crew. Today we proved that no empire, no matter how large, can predict humanity. But the galaxy is not finished testing us. This is just the beginning. We must remain vigilant, always adaptive, and always one step ahead. Humanity had survived what no one thought possible, a coordinated, multi-species siege designed to crush them. Yet the humans had not only survived, they had turned the enemy's strengths into weaknesses, proving that cunning, creativity, and unyielding resolve could triumph over sheer numbers. Across the galaxy, whispers of humanity's audacity grew louder. Entire civilizations began reconsidering their assumptions. The humans were no longer a minor species. They were a force capable of bending galactic politics, military strategy, and even alliances to their will. And in the shadows, Captain Elena whispered to herself as she stared into the stars, the reflection of distant battles shimmering in her eyes, "We will rise. We will endure. And the galaxy will learn a humanity cannot be underestimated." The siege of the Outer Rim had ended, but the war was far from over. The galaxy had witnessed the first true display of human cunning and adaptability, and for the first time, even the most confident empires feared a whisper that could change the course of history. The siege of the Outer Rim had ended, but the galaxy had not forgotten the audacity of humanity. Every empire, from the insectoid Xerthians to the serpentine Virilians, now understood a simple truth: humans could not be ignored. Yet while the alien coalition nursed its wounds and re-evaluated strategies, Captain Elena Royce had a different plan. "Defense is over," she declared aboard the Odyssey. "The galaxy has tested us. Now it is time to show them that humans do not just survive, they shape the battlefield. We go on the offensive. Strike at their weak points, exploit their arrogance, and show the universe that we are a force to be reckoned with." Lieutenant Chin projected the strategic map. "Our analysis shows multiple empires have vulnerabilities in their supply chains and internal politics. Xerthians rely heavily on centralized fleet nodes. Virilians are fractured between trading houses. Drellorians are politically divided between factions." Elena nodded. "We hit those points. Not to conquer, yet, but to destabilize, to demonstrate that humans can operate across the galaxy with precision and cunning. Every move will be a message: underestimate us at your peril." The first target was the Xerthian command hub orbiting Vraxel Prime. Using stealth and unconventional hyperspace maneuvers, human strike teams infiltrated the hub. Automated defenses were disabled, communication arrays were hijacked, and key command protocols were subtly disrupted, all without triggering full-scale detection. When the Xerthian generals realized what had happened, it was already too late. Their fleets were immobilized, supply lines scrambled, and internal communications thrown into chaos. From the observation deck of the Dread Maw, Kildar roared in frustration. How can they strike so precisely without ever being seen? Their strategy is not warfare, it is artistry. Meanwhile, humans turned their attention to the Virilians. Rather than attacking directly, they exploited political fractures. Using diplomatic channels, subversive intelligence, and targeted demonstrations of force, humans convinced key Virilian houses to withdraw support from the coalition. Within weeks, the once unified Virilians began vying among themselves, distracted from any coordinated response against humanity. Even the Drellorians, who had once hesitated in the face of human diplomacy, now faced internal dissent. Some factions argued that humanity was a species to be embraced as an ally, while others demanded total annihilation. Humans, through careful diplomacy and selective demonstrations of power, subtly encouraged these divisions without ever firing a shot. The galaxy began to shift. Entire sectors whispered about humanity's unmatched adaptability. Humans did not rely solely on firepower, they leveraged intelligence, deception, and insight into alien psychology. They were unpredictable yet precise, cunning yet restrained, feared yet respected. In the midst of this offensive, a shocking twist occurred. The Xerthians, humiliated and enraged, attempted a massive counterstrike. A fleet of thousands of warships aimed directly at Sol system. The humans, however, anticipated this move. Using hyperspace corridors unknown to aliens, they lured the Xerthians into a narrow star cluster, where automated defense arrays, gravitational traps, and stealth fleets awaited. The battle was apocalyptic. Energy beams carved streaks across the void, ships exploded in blinding brilliance, and entire fleets were disoriented within the human-engineered chaos. Within hours, the Xerthians had lost nearly a third of their attack force. Kildar, aboard the flagship, realized that humans were not just reactive, they dictated the battlefield. Amid the aftermath, Captain Elena addressed her fleet. "Today we proved a critical point: Humans do not wait for opportunity, they create it. Every empire that thought us weak now understands our strength. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast and our influence will grow. Remember, our power lies not only in our fleets but in our minds, our cunning, and our unity. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity transformed from a defensive species into a strategic force capable of influencing the course of interstellar politics and warfare. Alien empires began to fracture further, alliances weakened, and whispers of an unstoppable human ascendancy spread from system to system. Even in the darkest corners of space, where mercenaries, pirates, and independent civilizations thrived, humans became a name spoken with both respect and fear. The humans, they said, the species that bends chaos into order, that defeats empires with wit as much as with weaponry. The species that cannot be predicted, cannot be controlled, and will not be denied. Captain Elena stood alone on the bridge of the Odyssey, staring into the stars. The reflections of distant conflicts shimmered on the glass, and for a moment she allowed herself to feel the enormity of humanity's rise. "We are only getting started," she whispered. "The galaxy will learn that humans are not just survivors. We are apex. And no whisper, no threat, and no empire can change that truth." The offensive had succeeded. Humanity was no longer underestimated, it was feared, respected, and in command of its destiny. The galaxy was entering an era that would be defined not by the oldest empires, but by a species that had risen from an insignificant blue planet to the very heights of galactic power. And in the shadowed councils of alien worlds, a chilling realization dawned. Humanity had whispered once, and the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy trembled. For centuries, empires had believed themselves untouchable. Ancient fleets, centuries-old alliances, and unrivaled technology had dominated interstellar politics. And yet, one species, humans, had shattered every expectation. The coalition of Zerthians, Virilians, Drellorians, and splinter factions had gathered for one final, overwhelming assault on human-controlled space. Their armadas numbered in the millions, stretching across the void like a black tide, designed to crush humanity once and for all. Captain Elena Royce stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her reflection merging with the stars outside. The hum of the ship was steady, almost comforting. "This is it," she said softly to her crew. "They believe they hold the advantage. But advantage is a matter of perception. And humans, we create perception. Remember everything we've learned. Every tactic, every improvisation, every whisper of cunning that brought us here. Today we end this war, not by brute force but by showing the galaxy who we truly are." Lieutenant Chen's eyes glimmered with a mix of fear and excitement. "Sensors indicate multiple hyperspace jumps incoming. They're converging on us from every vector. If we miscalculate, even one fleet could devastate our defenses." Elena nodded. "Then we don't miscalculate. We don't just defend, we dictate. Deploy the decoy arrays. Activate the phantom fleets. Begin the gravitational traps in Sector 12. We turn their strengths into weaknesses, their numbers into liabilities, and their arrogance into disaster." The first wave of alien fleets appeared from hyperspace. Massive, imposing, and armed with weapons capable of vaporizing entire planets. Yet, as the humans anticipated, they did not face the full might head-on. The Odyssey and accompanying human ships lured the coalition into a vast nebula, thick with ion storms and gravitational anomalies. Within the nebula, alien sensors faltered. Communications fractured. Fleets became disoriented, unable to coordinate effectively. Human strike teams, moving with the precision of a predator, struck at supply convoys, command hubs, and critical warp nodes. Entire alien squadrons found themselves trapped within human-engineered gravity wells, unable to escape as automated drones dismantled their ships systematically. From the flagship Dread Maw, Kildar's mandibles clicked in disbelief. Impossible, every move they predicted. They are orchestrating everything. The Virilians attempted a surprise flanking maneuver, hoping to overwhelm the human fleet with speed and agility. But humans had anticipated this. Using modified hyperspace pathways, they appeared directly behind the Virilian fleet, cutting off retreat and striking with surgical precision. Ships disintegrated in bursts of plasma and fire. Entire command chains collapsed within hours. Amidst the chaos, a surprising act occurred. Several alien factions, inspired by humanity's audacity and strategic genius, turned against the coalition. The Drellorian faction that had once secretly aided humans now openly declared support, providing critical intelligence and opening pathways for human forces. The balance shifted. The coalition, once confident in victory, now faced betrayal from within and a foe who never fought conventionally. Captain Elena watched it unfold. "Do you see?" she whispered to her crew. "They think they control the war. But humans control perception, strategy, and choice. We have turned fear into power." The final strike was audacious. The humans exploited a rarely used hyperspace corridor near the core of the Zerthian fleet, bypassing the outer armadas entirely. Within moments, human forces emerged directly in the heart of the enemy formation, cutting command hubs, disrupting warp cores, and using electromagnetic pulses to neutralize ship systems. Entire alien fleets ground to a halt, immobile and vulnerable. Faced with annihilation, Kildar attempted surrender. Yet even in surrender, humans were magnanimous. They offered terms that preserved life, trade, and culture, while ensuring humanity's supremacy in strategic systems. Their message was clear: underestimate humans and the galaxy suffers, but respect them and a new era can begin. When the dust settled, the battlefield was silent, save for the debris of destroyed fleets. Humans had achieved the impossible. The galaxy had witnessed a species rise from obscurity to dominance, not through overwhelming firepower alone, but through cunning, adaptability, and unshakable resolve. On the bridge of the Odyssey, Captain Elena looked at the stars. The crew around her were exhausted but alive. "We whispered once," she said, her voice steady and calm. And that whisper became a roar the galaxy could not ignore. Humanity has proven itself, not just strong but singular, intelligent, and unstoppable. Remember this day. Remember why they feared a whisper. Across the galaxy, alien empires began to rebuild, wiser and more cautious. Humanity's reputation spread as the species capable of outthinking, outmaneuvering, and outlasting all others. Even centuries-old powers now approached humans with respect, knowing that a single human decision could change the course of history. And back on Earth, for the first time in history, humans looked at the stars not as distant observers, but as rulers of their destiny. The galaxy was vast, full of danger and wonder, yet humanity had carved its place. They had whispered and the universe had listened. The war was over. Humanity had risen. And in the silence of the cosmos, one truth echoed louder than any weapon. Aliens feared nothing, until a human whisper ended their war.